Hello and welcome to Baking on a Budget. In this video we're going to be making one of these very simple but absolutely delicious chocolate fudge cakes. And as usual we have all of the ingredients over here, and I'm going to run through exactly what there is and exactly how much all of that cost. We have 200 grams of plain flour at 10 pence. We have 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda at 2 pence. We have 1 teaspoon of baking powder at 3 pence. We have a pinch of salt. We have 60 grams of brown sugar at 17 pence. 60 grams of white sugar at 7 pence. We have 1 egg at 13 pence. We have 60 ml of vegetable oil at 10 pence. We have 60 grams of cocoa powder at 36 pence. We have 200 ml of hot water. And for the icing, we have 100 grams of dark chocolate at 65 pence, 110 ml of single cream at 42 pence. Total cost of the cake is £2 and 5 pence. We're going to get 7 really nice slices out of that, and that brings it out at 29 pence per slice. Now the only other things we'll need to make this cake are a mixing bowl and a loaf tin. This is a £2 loaf tin. I believe that's 9 inches by 4.5 inches. And I'll grease this and put a flap of greaseproof paper in just so we can lift the cake out easily once it's done. Alright, so to begin with, we want to sieve the flour. As I say, this is 200 grams of plain flour, along with 1 teaspoon of bicarb and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now we're just going to sieve that into the bowl. That's it there. To this we want to add a pinch of salt. Then we are adding 60 grams of white sugar and 60 grams of brown sugar. Now we just want to bring all this together, and if there's any of those lumps of the brown sugar, we can just press them out on the side of the bowl. That is looking good. And to this we are going to just crack the eggs straight into the mix, and we are going to pour the oil in there also. 60 ml of vegetable oil. Now we want to pull this together. This will be a fairly stiff mix to begin with. That will do just fine there. Now the next things, we have 200 ml of hot water, and we have 60 grams of cocoa powder. Stir that together, and then we simply want to combine the whole thing by pouring the cocoa powder and water into that mix and then bringing the whole thing together. And there it is. A couple of minutes later it should be looking like this. Beautiful. Smells beautiful as well. Already greased the sides and bottom of this tin with a little lard, and I'm just going to place this parchment or greaseproof paper in the bottom of the tin and just up over the sides so that we can easily get the cake out. We simply want to get this mixture into the tin, and as I say, we want this to be about 3/4 of the way up. This batter is really good for cleaning the sides of the bowl and get every last drop of that beautiful chocolate fudge cake mixture into the tin. This is going to go into an oven at 180 degrees centigrade. All of the conversions for this, the grams into ounces and the different oven temperatures, are in the description below the video. As I say, an oven at 180 degrees centigrade, and it's going to stay in there for about 40-45 minutes. Keep an eye on it after about 35 and just make sure that's doing okay. Give it the skewer test and it should be fine. And here we are, 45 minutes later, and the cake is looking absolutely delicious. Skewer test comes out clean. That tells us the cake is done all the way through. Now we need to leave this to cool right down because we're going to cut it in half, and it needs to be fairly firm to do that. And in the meantime, we're going to make the fudge icing for this. To make the icing, what I have in the pan here, boiling water in the pan, the chocolate I've put into a bowl, and we're just going to leave that in there until the chocolate melts. Obviously, if you had a microwave, you could do this in a microwave. I don't own such a thing, so we're doing it the old-fashioned way. And that really does only take a couple of minutes until the chocolate is fully melted. And with that done, we are simply going to take the cream, add it to the chocolate and mix it all together. Now this will have to stand for a while also to go a little bit more solid before we start spreading it on the cake. But that icing has come together really nicely there. As I say, as that cools it'll go a little bit stiffer and that will be perfect. Okay, now the cake has had a chance to cool quite a bit, so we're going to take this parchment off the bottom of it and we're going to cut it in half this way. And I'm going to use a serrated knife for that. I think that will be the best for the job. I'm trying to keep that even if possible. If we can take the top piece off, that's still steaming a little bit, but it looks okay. Now I'm going to put this in place before I ice it, because I don't want to be picking it up once it has been iced. So there we have the cake, here we have the icing. Now I'm just going to get some of that and spread it fairly generously over the middle of the cake. This is still a little brittle. I could have left it a little bit longer to cool, but I think we'll get away with it. Now we need to take the top of it and put that back on. Very good. And now we're going to take the rest of this icing and do the top of the cake with it. And again, I'm just using the back of the spoon here. You could use a spatula. Now you could make a bit more icing if you wanted to and ice this right down the sides, but for me this will be absolutely delicious. I'm going to leave that to cool just a little bit more before I cut into it, and then we are going to take a look at that and we're going to take a taste. Now look at that, it has cooled eventually, and that looks delicious. That's moist inside, beautifully moist, dark chocolate, beautiful fudge icing around there, and I'm serving this with a little cream which I had left from making the icing on this. So let's take a slice of that. That is dark and rich. That is a beautiful chocolate cake, it really is. And the whole cake, £2.5, making this delicious slice. 29 pence, a little bit more of the cream, but the cake 29 pence. I do hope you try this. It is definitely a winner in my book. And if you've enjoyed the video, as I say, please do give it a thumbs up. This does help. And if you would like to see more videos of this nature, beautiful home-baked food, really reasonably priced, do subscribe to the channel, because there will be more videos coming over the next weeks and months. In the meantime, I thank you very much for watching. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this cake. Thank you.